Your job as a leader in the agency is not selling insurance, taking payments, making policy changes. Your job as a leader is to find those people, coach them, train them, build the processes and the technology around the agency so they can be successful. On the way here this morning, I flew in this morning. On the way here, I had this kid sitting next to me that kept like poking me, pulling my shirt, wiping boogers on me, all this stuff. And the mom just sat there and laughed and didn't do anything about it. And I thought about it and I said, you know, kids are kind of like insurance podcasts. They're really easy to make and not everybody should have one. So she really knows agencies. And she told me one time, and this was really profound, and some of you have probably heard this before, she said, in my agency, we call $750,000 in revenue to $1 million in revenue no man's land. And that is because that's where most agency owners get stuck. That's the point where you have to start building SOPs, you have to start implementing technology that frees you up from the business. The agency owner can no longer be the top producer. You have to build a leadership team. You have to have structure, and most people, it's too painful or they don't want to do that. Coincidentally, I skipped slides, but coincidentally, the average agency in America is $1 million in revenue. And we had this conversation, it was a couple years ago, and I was like, Angela, you just like perfectly described my problem. Like that switch is painful. It's hard to make. So when we started building Portal, I wanted to operate like we were more than $1 million in revenue before we were $1 million in revenue. So we're gonna do a leadership thought experiment really quick. If someone could come into your agency today and do everything you do, you wouldn't have to do anything and the agency would still grow the same amount and be more valuable when you sell. Are you necessary? The answer is you aren't. Your job as a leader of an agency, and how many agency owners we have in here? Okay, it's a decent amount. Your job as a leader in the agency is not selling insurance, taking payments, making policy changes. Your job as a leader is to find those people, coach them, train them, build the processes and the technology around the agency so they can be successful. Do you agree with that, Cass? So let's do a leadership thought experiment real quick. And I know this is an Insurtech conference, I'm going somewhere with this, okay? Leadership thought experiments. Agency A, clients demand to speak to the owner. The owner is the top salesperson. Everything runs through the owner. Agency B, client speaks to whoever answers the phone. Everyone's equipped to help everybody. The owner is not the top salesperson. The owner only gets in the weeds seldomly, and there's a solid leadership team in place that can make decisions on behalf of the agency without getting the CEO, the president, or the agency owner involved, whatever you want to call yourself. Which one's more valuable? Which one's easier to retire from? Which one's less stressful? That last one's debatable, but mostly it's B. I think before you implement all this Insurtech, all these shiny objects, all this crap that's out there, you have to have your processes in line because tech cannot replace a bad process. You have to have a good process first, then you add the tech to it to enhance it. So there's one question, really two questions, that you should filter every single Insurtech purchase through. Will this eliminate multiple entry or not? That is the North Star that I use anytime I'm on a demo with an Insurtech, anytime I have an Insurtech pitching me, when I'm in the back of the room today and I'm learning about technology that's here and talking to some of the vendors, I always try to make a round in the vendor halls to appreciate them for being here. And lastly, I want to give a shout out real quick to a few companies I've invested in. This is my own dollars, my time, advisory, that sort of thing. Ascend, Gaia, Indium, Openly Cake, Quotewell, Fair, which is a new company, and Mind Your Agency, which builds the intranets. On all of these companies, I was a user first, fell in love with the product, and said, I'm going to put my money where my mouth is and help you guys. And just to be fair, here's some companies that I have not invested in because I did not think that they were doing right by agents or fit my mantra for how I thought they should operate. Thank you, guys. Yes, right. Because the billing type's so important. I mean, that dictates how the renewal goes.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and if it's agency bill, I, God forbid, don't want to assume it's direct bill and nothing happens.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So,
cool.
Yeah,
Well,
I appreciate it. Absolutely. Thanks.
So I have a question.
Sure.
I love this stuff that you showed, and I don't want to do it. Yeah. I want to pay somebody to come in and set this up.
As far as like the intranet stuff?
What's that?
The intranet stuff?
All
Just
of
the
it.
tech stuff? Okay.
Like, I'm just so disappointed with right now. And I'm thinking there's got to be something better. My commissions are all mixed up at the back end. And, you know, I don't know if there's a technology consultant that you know that.
So Kenneth that's in my office, who builds the intranets for people, he does some of that stuff on the side. So did you grab my email?
I did, yeah.
Okay, if you'll shoot me an email, I'll remember who you are.
Oh.
And
Benny, Ohio.
Yeah, and I'll introduce you to him, and he can point you in the right direction or help you or whatever, depending on the scope of it.
Set up. I just, you know,
that's the hard part.
I was just saying that I really want to find somebody to help me get it set up. I don't have
What part set up?
really at all.
Like the tech part.
I'm kind of disappointed. You know, there were three key things that he had talked about in the beginning, and one of those was getting the agency management system. The phone system I use Lightsweet, and there was one other. What was the other one? Oh, DocuSign, or something of that nature. So those were the three core things. Well, we've kind of got that, but I'm not happy with the agency management part. You and I had talked about hot stuff. You had talked, you know, other people that I know use what you use. Agency Advantage. So I'm just trying to figure out the best thing. I want to talk to somebody.
I didn't talk about our agency management system up there. We use NowCerts for our AMS. Agency Zoom, that's the CRM. So Agency Zoom doesn't have download, so you have to have an AMS attached to it. But 90% of what we do is in Agency Zoom. The customer file just lives in the AMS. Yeah, it's the internet can get a little boring because there's a lot in there.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. We've kind of done that, but not in like its own site. It's been built out in Teams, but I just feel like
you're 80% of the way there.
Yeah.
Because Kenneth in my office is helping other people build the intranet, but the problem he's running into is they don't have the processes.
Yeah.
And so some people are having to help them build their process. So if you got the processes, the intranet part's easy.
We started
It's just maintaining.